Midwest, we did have an active weekend. We even had severe weather across the coast. Several roads underwater with cars stalling out in the deluge. The next round of storms as Texas tries to dry out and clean up. Jim.
All right, we've got a
commute about to head out the door. We're in pretty good shape, but there's still going to be a lot of residual high water at some intersections here because you can see what took place over the last several hours. All these flood reports, heavy rain reports, 2-3 inches of rain, and yes, even some tree damage with some of the stronger winds that came through portions of Missouri and even into Illinois. But just focusing in on St. Louis, where we did have 4 inches of rain on the north side of town, a little over 3.5 inches of rain south of there. And we're not just talking neighborhood streets. We're talking major interstates. I-55 being impacted. That was closed for a time and diverted due to flooding in Oakville, LeMay. Multiple vehicles were trapped here. And also on the southwest side of St. Louis in the town of Crestwood, we had some issues with some street flooding as well. So that water still could be out there this morning. Be very careful. Severe weather threat also happening, not so much for St. Louis, but south of there. It's a marginal threat from Joplin over to Poplar Bluff and to the Boot Hill, Missouri, western side of Kentucky, as well as northwestern Tennessee. That's where already the energy and the instability has been building, even while it's still dark outside. We've got plenty of energy to work with, and then, of course, the sun does its thing, and we will see those showers and thunderstorms breaking out in Springfield, Missouri. This lightning bolt display here, this just shows you that every hour there's a chance. It doesn't mean it's going to, but there is a chance that we'll have showers and storms throughout the day today, so you get the overall idea. So now's your time to enjoy the dryness while you've got it. Here come the storms starting to rumble through Joplin, Springfield, 3-4 o'clock this afternoon, down towards Fayetteville, Arkansas, Boot Hill, Missouri, into West Tennessee. Paducah, looks like you guys get in on somewhere around 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening after the sun sets. These storms still looking pretty potent as they move their way out of Missouri into southern Illinois. Even during the overnight hours, you'll still see some flashes of lightning through the window. Flash flood threat through tomorrow morning, especially in Arkansas, where the ground is already quite saturated. But now we're going to bring some of those storms into the Tennessee Valley, down toward the southeast. And Jordan, that's the actual cold front that could cause severe weather tomorrow.
Yes, and that's where I will take it.
Oh, geez.
A 90-degree
brutal
weather.
year for weeds.
I know. We just hit 90 for the first time in the ATL yesterday. Hard to believe that places like Portland, Oregon beat us to it, right? But we will see a little bit of a cool down from the northeast, even down to the southeast. Temperatures are in the mid-80s in Nashville, 78 in New York City. We should be low 70s this time of the year, so just a tad above average, but we get even warmer tomorrow with 83 degrees. That's ahead of a cold front that will eventually cool us down from New England all the way down south. And by the way, parts of New England are pretty chilly this morning with those frost advisories in effect. So you see the blue on the map for tomorrow, Burlington up towards Caribou. That's where temperatures are on the cooler side, but Boston, you're warmer. But notice we're close to average. Where you see the absence of color on this map, that means we're just about where we should be. But New York City, again, tomorrow, enjoy the warmth while you got it in Central Park, 83, 79 Philadelphia, 83 in Boston. Again, we should be low 70s for the megalopolis. And now we're going to go below average as we head towards Wednesday as that front drops on through. And for the upstate of New York, from Albany, where they just wrapped up their Tulip Festival over the weekend, now you've got the low 50s from Syracuse to Albany up towards Burlington on Lake Champlain. Temperatures are going to be a good 5 to 15 degrees cooler than average for much of the Northeast as well as the Mid-Atlantic and even down south into the Carolinas and Georgia. Somewhat of a backdoor front coming on through, and that's going to slide those numbers down into the upper 70s in Columbia. 74 Atlanta. We should be 80 this time of the year, mid-May. 70 degrees in the beautiful mountain city of Asheville. The good news is with these fronts, this front in particular will lower that humidity. Look at the dew point drop from the northeast all the way through the Tennessee Valley and even the southeast. You'll have that east wind, and therefore the lower dew points and the cooler temperatures. New York City, look at that. After the 80s tomorrow, Jordan, we are cooling down to the 60s by the end of the week.
That pure sunshine.
Get your breath away.
Exactly.
All right, time for your dog walking forecast. Jim talked about the heat. Make sure your loved ones, your furry friends. Monday, everybody, we are halfway through the month of May. We've got showers and storms that could slow your ride down across the middle of the country and cause potential airport delays. Now, I just checked moments ago, no delays as of this early hour, but Kansas City is one to watch, as well as the areas in yellow. You've got Dallas, Houston, New Orleans, even Seattle at SeaTac. We could see a few possible delays, and Boston at Logan Airport with a little bit of wind out there. Southeast, a smattering of showers and thunderstorms impacting I-20 down to the I-10 corridor. Could be some big puddles forming out there, so be careful of that, especially by this afternoon. I think that's when we'll have the better chance for seeing these showers and storms as we get that daytime heating. So a place like New Orleans, we could flood very easily, and traveling westbound all the way through the parishes here into southwestern Louisiana. Lake Charles, watch out for the heavy downpours. Make sure you put on those headlights if you're going to be traveling through the rain with the windshield wipers going pretty fast as well. Houston, we've already had some issues with, severe weather and even some very heavy rain. Flash flooding is something we'll have to watch out for as well. And even tomorrow, we're not quite done with the showers and storms throughout the South. Jim?
Nor will.
Check out the fast-flowing waterfall in Arkansas. This is the Tanyard Creek waterfall, courtesy of our Charles Peak, capturing that for us in the northwestern part of the state, right along the Missouri border. We've had rounds and rounds of rain, above average rainfall actually adding to this quick runoff, so we're seeing more scenes like this. Believe it or not, nearby Fayetteville, Arkansas, we only have a surplus of about an inch or so, but places like Little Rock, we are above average by a foot, more than a foot actually. So this is pretty to look at, but we don't want to see this kind of thing on roadways, and that's what we're seeing a lot of here, Jordan. Flooded roads from the Midwest, from St. Louis, all the way down into Texas.
Yeah, it's been active. And we're going to start off with sunshine this morning.
Just a reminder, always check the back seat before you lock it up. Stay out where these storms do pop up. Severe threat, not as high as what we saw over the weekend. We had some wind reports yesterday, some hail as well, and a few tornado reports over the weekend, including Iowa. But right now, you're taking a look at the flood reports, the heavy rain that pounded portions of Illinois, as well as eastern Missouri, as these downpours slowly made their way through the area. We're talking 3, 4, even up to 5 inches of rain in some areas, 4 inches on the north side of the St. Louis metro, and you can see south of there we did see quite a bit of rainfall too, and that led to flooding. Even on interstates like I-55, we had some traffic diversions there. You can see more than 4 inches of rain causing multiple vehicles to be stalled out, and some high water rescues going on in some cases. Now, as I mentioned, the severe threat not as high, but it's not zero either. We do have a marginal threat in that light shade of red, stretching from eastern Kansas and Oklahoma through the Ozarks of southern Missouri into the western side of Kentucky and West Tennessee as well. The main threat will be damaging winds as these storms really begin to fire up and engage with the daytime heating. So you see, we already have instability and energy showing up even at this early hour. So we can't rule it out. Place like Springfield, be prepared for storms pretty much every hour as we go throughout the day today. And when it's not raining, it's going to feel like it wants to rain. It's going to be very humid. It's a very muggy atmosphere. Same thing over here in West Tennessee, northern parts of Arkansas. Some of us need the rain, some of us do not. We will see plenty of it moving across the region. The oranges and reds popping here. That indicates the heavier downpours, flashes of lightning as well. Even as we head into our Monday, Tuesday night, you see the showers really holding together pretty well as they move into the middle of Tennessee. So there is going to be another flash flood threat as we go from, tonight into tomorrow morning. And then the cold front itself could cause severe storms, especially right here in the southeast, Jordan.
Yeah. So as we watch that
for me.
Yeah,
and typically our first 90 is not until June, by the way, in Atlanta.
Yeah, that was toasty yesterday.
A little toasty.
I mean,
so I moved my
everybody
thermostat.
Else.
I moved my thermostat from 78 to 77.
Oh, yeah, but it takes the humidity out of the air when you do that.
That's exactly right.
People forget about the dehumidifying, factors
Absolutely.
going on with AC. So,
but you know what? The
enjoy
good news is we're going to squeegee out that humid air as we bring a cold front through the northeast and then eventually the south. Temperature is actually running a tad above average in some places across the Ohio Valley, southeast. New York City, we should be low 70s. We're going to be in the upper 70s for today, as well as Philadelphia. It gets even warmer, though, as we head into tomorrow. It's that southerly component to the wind before the cold front gets in here. So you'll see a bump in the temperatures, and then the cold front itself moves through midweek, and boy, does it get chilly. We're talking overnight lows getting down to freezing, and yes, your daytime highs are going to be running about 5 to 10 or even 15 degrees below average as we head for midweek. So the numbers tomorrow, the Megalopolis, the 95 corridor, that's where you've got the heat. Still pretty cool, though, up around Lake Champlain and even Saranac Lake, where you guys got down into the 20s this morning. A little frost out there. By Wednesday, here comes the front, dropping those daytime highs to the 60s. Remember, we should be in the low 70s for mid-May. Syracuse only 52 degrees. We should be 69 degrees for this time of year. That's your average. And that cold front doesn't stop there. It's going to bring the blue all the way down into the Carolinas, into Georgia as well. We're going down with that east wind setting up here from Columbia to Atlanta and to Macon. So temperatures are going to be in the mid 70s in Atlanta. We should be 80 this time of the year. So even though it's going to be cooler than average, it's still going to be very nice with these milder temperatures. You've got 70 in Asheville by the Biltmore in North Carolina. But there's your dew point situation. situation. Notice how it's still a little muggy out there at midnight, and then we're going to see those numbers go down as the front makes progress from north to south, and that's going to usher in the drier air, which of course can cool off more efficiently. That's why we're calling for those overnight lows to be so chilly. New York City average high 71. We're above that tomorrow, but then after that, the rest of the week, Jordan, we are grabbing sweaters. Going through the month of May very quickly now. We want to take a look ahead at the T-Mobile coast-to-coast forecast to give you a peek of the temperatures in your areas you plan travel for this week ahead. We do have those storms right in the middle of the country. We'll be following those that could cause some flash flooding anywhere from Kansas City down towards Houston, even Atlanta. We could get a pop-up shower or thunderstorm out there during the afternoon with all that humidity in place. You can see the Northeast. We've got a warm up for you before the cool down occurs by Wednesday. That's when that cold front comes through, dropping us down to 66 in New York. We should be in the low 70s this time of year. 80 degrees is average in Atlanta. We'll see that, but then we will start to cool things down as we head towards Thursday with the showers around. That will hold it down. More showers and storms for Miami as well as Denver. Mile high looking at temps in the 60s as we head through Friday, and then that wet weather heads to the East Coast on Saturday.